guys, Tanner at Hastings Ford Lincoln and now proudly HFX Honda, which is really cool because now it means I get to play with cool stuff like this, Honda snowblower. But I had a cool story about this I want to share with you. So it's actually yesterday, woke up to the snow like many of you did. And if you're like me and you have a driveway that faces the west to northwest, you probably get the same, but I got a big drift right by my driveway. And it was 25 inches tall and I was outmatched. I had an older snowblower from the 90s, still 2-stroke. You know, just it wasn't cutting it, and I had been trying. I've been working with it for probably about 3-4 hours, and finally gave up. I was coming inside to get a shovel and actually dig it out by hand, and then I decided to call Thomas at HFX Honda instead. And so I've been wanting a new snowblower for a while. I've been looking around, and so I called Thomas and I said, "Hey, you know, what do you got? Which you have in stock? What does Honda make?" And had a quick 10-minute conversation with Thomas. Then he sent me a couple pictures via text, showing me some of the options. And anyways, I picked out this. This is the Honda HS720, and this is a single-stage snowblower. This would be kind of like an entry-level snowblower. It's not self-propelled necessarily like the big ones you see that have the chains on the tires. That's a whole nother class, but I didn't have, you know, $2,500 to $4,000 to spend either, you know. So I was on a budget, under $1,000, and Thomas got me out the door. I want to say it was like 900 and some change after taxes and everything. But then I said, "Hey, I'm kind of in a pickle. I can't get to the street yet. I still haven't gotten out yet." And he said, "Well, that's no problem. We deliver these things for free in Hastings anyways." And I didn't know that. And I said, "Well, that's great." And so actually Jordan, who works in parts and service, he brought it over in his own personal truck, although he wasn't even feeling good. He's actually going home for the day. And he actually helps me drag it over this 25-inch drift at the end of my driveway that was still probably maybe about 3 foot wide. And so he helps me, and it's not particularly heavy. I think I want to say with gas, it weighs about 90 pounds. But Jordan helps me, and it's very intuitive to use, but Jordan did spend the time. He showed me real quick kind of how to run it. I did ask if I had to put gas in it, and he smiled and said, "No, it's already full of gas." And he flipped on the switch, and it fired right up. Anyways, I got some great action shots with it because technically a 25-inch drift, you know, it's still up on this unit too. So I knew I was going to be pushing this a little bit out of its range as well, but I wanted to see what the real Honda power would do. And I'll be honest with you, I thought I'd still have to use a shovel. And as you're going to find out, I didn't have to. This thing took out this 25-inch drift. Luckily, it was a little bit lighter snow, drier snow that many of you know. If it was a little bit wetter snow or slushy, you know, who knows. But I want to show you some action shots I had with it yesterday, and I'm also going to show you a quick runaround on it, just a couple features I really like, and then I'm going to show you some. All right, here we are, guys. The Honda HS720. It is a single-stage snowblower, which means it only has one spinning auger there on the front, and essentially it, you know, centers the snow, picks it up, centers it, and then throws it out the chute here. It is attached to the motor. Usually, in this case, there is a clutch assembly in there, and there's usually a belt. Not quite for sure. Haven't taken this one apart yet. I'm not a technician, but that's usually how they work. This thing, I got to tell you, I really, really like it. It's awesome. The first thing, and this isn't a new thing, but it is a 4-stroke motor. So I'm not mixing oil and gas anymore, which is great. It's not necessarily a new thing, but that's something I was still doing with my old snowblower. So I don't have to mix gas. I do recommend you run premium though, 91 octane. Honda will tell you can run up to 10% ethanol, but unless you're using a lot of that snow, I don't recommend, or using a lot of gas to move a lot of snow really frequently. I would recommend just running 91 no ethanol that you get there at the quick lane. And but here's your controls back here, super easy. And I love this. The first thing is all the manual controls are right here at the operator station. My old unit, you know, you'd have to reach down here and adjust all this and adjust up here with your hand while it's running. That's not really the best idea, not super safe. Up here, you have the clutch and gauge here for the auger. So just like a push mower, you pull this back, and when you get about here, right in this area, you will feel that clutch and gauge. And then you just hold it like a lawnmower, and you just lightly push it. You don't need to push really strong. In some of the videos you'll see when I'm fighting that monster drift, I'm getting after it a little bit and I'm pushing on a little bit. But just know, listen to the motor, you know, and just slow down. Don't go super crazy. You can wear out those belts prematurely if you get after it too much, and the clutch and assembly. So just be careful of that. But overall, like I said, love this unit. It's got a wheelie bar back here, which is great. That's a safety feature. So if this thing starts tipping backwards, if you slip on snow or ice, this is going to keep it from coming all the way down with you. The motor's right here. You got your oil check. I don't have to take off a cover to check my oil. And there's your oil drain. And this is awesome. I love this. When I change the oil, they get this little lip here, right? And it's just a little stuff, but other machines I've used, it's flat. And you drain the oil, and then the oil goes all around the motor, makes a huge mess. I'm not gonna have that problem here. Dipstick's there to check. Like I said, I just love this thing. Let's get out there, and I'm gonna show you how it works. All right, guys, I wanna show you how to start this. It's super easy. Obviously, fill it full of gas. Like I said, 91 is what I recommend, but you can go up to 10% ethanol. And like I mentioned, it did come full of gas from HFX Honda, which is great. Here's our on-off switch right here. It does have 3 positions, and so you have off on either side. So this is off, on, off, and we'll leave it on. Not for sure why it has 2. Haven't figured that out yet. It's probably a safety feature, would be my guess. So that way, if you need to flip it and say you had to go left, but you could only hit it this way, I guess it would shut it off either way. That's my guess. Choke is right here. Super easy. If it's cold, the machine hasn't been running for a while, go ahead and just pull this out. That's the full position. Pull. Go ahead and let it start, and after about a minute or so, when it starts warming up, you can slowly start pushing this in. Sometimes I just push it all the way in, and usually the motor's ready to go, but you can usually tell just by how the motor sounds, and you'll just get used to when you know it's ready to go. It doesn't take very long, especially with this motor. I really like the 4-stroke. This has plenty of power, and the one thing I'm going to tell you about too is just how much fun this unit is to use. And you'll see me in some of the videos, I'm actually smiling and laughing because this thing is so much fun to use. But when you just pull this clutch engage back, and when it just goes into gear, you feel that Honda power, and it has a solid oomph, and you hear that auger going, and it's just so much fun to use. It shoots snow like 30 feet. This thing is great, but let's go ahead. I'm going to show you some shots of me using it here yesterday to get through that 25-inch high snowdrift at the back of my driveway that my previous unit left me stranded with. So this is going to come save the day. So let's go play with it. Guys, there you have it. Just closing comments. I love this Honda HS720. It's exactly what I needed. It was in my budget. It was under $1,000, even with taxes and everything. So I was, really happy about that. I love the 4-stroke motor that I've talked about. I like that I don't have to mix gas. Looking further at it too, the spark plug access is right here. That's super easy. This comes off easy. That's more for when you get to your annual maintenance. Or if you need to do, change it, things like that. But it's just super easy to get to. Your plug wire is right there. There's a single plug, it's single cylinder. And then you got your drain down here in your check. I mean, I'm not taking any covers off. to do the maintenance on this thing yet. And I really like that. My old unit, I had to take some pieces apart. It wasn't super hard either, but here I'm not taking anything off, and I love that. This cover comes off super easy. You just pull, and it's got a little strappy that attaches to it so you don't lose it. It's just, you know, Honda did a really good job when they designed this. And the motor's great. It's quieter, you know, than a two-stroke, obviously. Again, that's not a new idea. It's new to me, though. And even though this is a four-stroke, that has just that Honda power, and it just, when you fire up the motor, you can tell you got that Honda power there. And like I said, you engage the clutch, and it just oomph, and it's just running, and it's a great feeling. You can tell you got the power. And I was so excited yesterday because I was pushing this outside of its limits at 25-inch snow drifts, right? And I was still a little in the back of my mind thinking I was gonna have to get my shovel, but I didn't. This thing got through all of it. I did have to push it a little harder than I wanted to, but I'll tell you, the motor never bogged down. You know, and if you ever get in that situation, especially with wet snow or slushy snow, if you do hear the motor bogging down, you know, you want to slow down a little bit. Don't push it too hard. But I'm going to tell you, yesterday, I didn't have that at all with this. And when I finally got to the street, some of those shots was actually me pushing what the city plow had left, right? The city plow comes through and makes that drift. I was doing that with this. And you know, it's taller than the machine, and that's usually when you know you got to slow down, right? When the snow's up here and you're getting snow up here, you're pushing it hard, and I was pushing it hard, but it did the job and never backed down. And I was laughing, I was having fun. My wife was getting mad at me. She had an appointment, and so she finally had to come out and say, hey, you got to come inside, watch the kids, I got to go. And it was just so much fun where with my older one, you know, I'd already been working with it for, you know, 4 hours or so, and I was getting tired, I was getting done, and then this thing shows up, and I'm smiling, having a blast. But anyways, HFX Honda, we have these in stock. Call Thomas, he's a sales manager over there. Jordan's your parts and service guy. They're both great guys. I've worked with them for quite a few years, and they're personal friends of mine. Thomas is my brother-in-law, but they're doing great things over there. If you haven't had a chance to check them out yet, come over there and see us. And like I said, even if, like yesterday, I couldn't make it in the store, I just called Thomas and they brought it to me. That's awesome. And that's what they're willing to do for you guys too, anywhere around the Hastings area here. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And I love this thing, and I'm very excited I bought it. I should have bought it 3 or 4 years ago. So anyways, thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it.